To control the river, one does not push the water. One digs a deeper channel. To control a heart, one does not ask for love. One creates a thirst that only you can quench. Machiavelli. Seduction is war. Machiavelli never spoke of love. He spoke of power. And power in the field of attraction is not conquered with flowers, but with psychological dominance. The man who understands this does not seek to please. He provokes, unbalances, challenges. And that is exactly where Machiavelli's dirtiest method is born. The method of inverting the woman's perception until she herself begins to desire the man she previously resisted. Machiavelli said that the prince must appear virtuous, but act according to necessity. The Machiavellian seducer applies the same principle. He shows no intentions, only effects. He knows that the female mind is moved by curiosity, not certainty. That is why he never gives everything. He creates a game of constant tension, a back and forth between presence and absence, affection and coldness, interest and mystery. The secret is simple and cruel. Control the imaginary. The woman does not fall in love with the man, but with the idea she builds of him. The Machiavellian feeds this idea with measured doses of attention and indifference, making her mind work for him. When she thinks, imagines, analyzes, she is already inside the game. Power changes hands the instant she starts trying to decipher who he is. Machiavelli would say, "Men judge more with their eyes than with their hearts." Therefore, the seducer does not seek to be good. He seeks to be interesting. He dominates the gaze, appears intensely, confidently, enigmatically. He awakens something that logic controls not, fascination. And fascination, once lit, becomes a vice. This is the dirtiest point of the method, provoking emotional dependence without ever promising anything. He does not commit to affection, but to impact. The woman feels there is something in him she does not understand, and that is what traps her. The female mind is a fortress, but mystery is the key that unlocks the doors from the inside. The Machiavellian understands that every woman wants to feel something rare. The error of common men is trying to convince her that they are good enough. The strategist does the opposite. He makes her question if she is good enough for him. He creates an inverted mirror, makes her feel the need to prove value. It is dominance through scarcity. When he disappears, she seeks him. When he reappears, she calms down. When he shows himself cold, she seeks warmth. Control is not in words, but in contrasts. It is the same principle of war. Whoever dictates the rhythm dictates the battlefield, and thus he becomes unforgettable, not because he was kind, but because he was enigmatic. Not because he said what she wanted to hear, but because he said what she did not expect. Machiavelli's dirtiest method lies not in manipulating directly, but in transforming desire into voluntary obedience. She believes she chose him, but it was he who chose her first and conducted every step of the fall. Machiavelli would call this the art of governing others' impulses. And seduction, after all, is no different from governing a kingdom. Power in seduction is not physical, it is psychological. The body is merely the armor. The true conquest happens in the mind, and the Machiavellian dominates the invisible. He is the man who understands that love, when awakened by attention and mystery, is not feeling, it is hypnosis. He makes her laugh, think, doubt, wait. Every emotion is a tool. Every silence is a command. Every look, a promise that is never fulfilled. He awakens her instinct to conquer, and when that instinct awakens, the game is won. Because whoever tries to conquer has already lost control. And thus the method is born, emotional inversion. He makes the woman feel what the man would normally feel: insecurity, curiosity, desire, fear of loss. He inverts the logic of the game, and when that happens, no resistance survives. The Machiavellian seeks not love, he seeks dominance. And dominance in Machiavelli is not maintained by force, but by illusion. This is how the seducer becomes king, without ever needing to fight, because the woman's own mind fights for him. Everything begins with silence. The common man tries to fill the void with words, while the Machiavellian transforms silence into a weapon. He knows that silence creates imagination, and imagination creates a bond. An interested woman cannot stand the vacuum. She fills the space with thoughts, and those thoughts become emotion. It is in this instant that dominance begins. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." The seducer understands that commanding in psychology is inducing without appearing authoritarian. He does not impose, he guides. The secret is to make the woman feel she has freedom, but a freedom carefully delimited by his accounting control. In the beginning, he appears intriguingly, does not reveal too much, but leaves traces. He speaks little about himself, but with intensity. He asks questions that expose her interior and guards his own mystery. He becomes the mirror that reflects what she wants to see. The woman projects herself onto him, and every detail he omits makes her think more. The Machiavellian dominates the psychology of uncertainty. One day he compliments, the next he withdraws. One day he looks deep into the eyes, the next he seems distracted. He alternates heat and ice with surgical precision. This alternation is not chance, it is tactics. It creates emotional dependence because the human brain is addicted to contrasts. Pleasure only exists when there is attention before it. He does not compete for attention, he withdraws his. When she wants answers, he offers riddles. When she wants security, he offers challenge. He does not try to be the most handsome, but the most interesting. And the interesting in psychology is that which awakens more questions than it offers conclusions. This is the moment of controlled emotional instability. Machiavelli said that the wise ruler must be feared enough to be respected, but loved enough not to be hated. The seducer applies the same logic. He provokes intense emotions, but never crosses the limit of repulsion. He generates tension, but also reward. He wounds and heals in the same measure. The dirty method consists of awakening the woman's instinct for conquest. When she feels she possesses him, he withdraws. When she feels she loses him, he returns. This keeps the cycle of desire alive. Predictability kills interest. The unpredictable multiplies it. He becomes the pleasant chaos she does not understand, but desires. Every absence is planned. When he disappears, she misses him. When he returns, her brain associates relief with pleasure and pleasure with the man. This creates an emotional anchor. It is the same principle used by political strategists and propagandists, the control of emotions by association. But there is something even deeper, the inversion of value. The Machiavellian never validates the woman too much. He recognizes, but does not exalt. He demonstrates interest, but also selectivity. He communicates subtly that she needs to earn his attention. This awakens the competitive instinct and makes her want to prove she is unique. The female mind reacts to challenge with intensity. When she feels she needs to conquer, ego mixes with desire. And desire, when it becomes proof of value, is uncontrollable. This is the point where psychological power is completely installed. The Machiavellian knows that seduction is not about being the center of attention, but about controlling the rhythm of emotions. He never rushes. He makes time his accomplice. Every pause is intentional. Every message is delayed. Every look that lasts a second longer, every farewell that seems definitive, everything is strategy. And behind this, there is a central principle of Machiavelli. Whoever controls fear controls the heart. The seducer awakens the fear of losing, of not being sufficient, of being replaced. He needs to say nothing, just a cold attitude, an unexpected absence, a change of tone. Fear does the rest. But attention, the true Machiavellian, does not do this out of insecurity, but calculation. He creates chaos and resolves it. He destroys to rebuild. He is the architect of emotional drama. What for others is chance, for him is tactics. Deep down, the dirty method is not about sex, it is about control. It is about transforming attraction into psychological submission. Not an imposed submission, but a desired one. The woman believes she chooses him, but was led step by step to the decision he wanted from the beginning. And when she finally believes she dominates him, he changes the game again, withdraws, disappears, makes the mystery reborn. It is in this cycle of pleasure and frustration that passion solidifies. Machiavelli would say, men become more attached to things that cause them effort. The same goes for love. When the game reaches this point, the woman is no longer just curious, she is involved. The Machiavellian knows that the most dangerous moment is when desire matures too much. That is where the enchantment can break. Therefore, he changes tactics from mystery to controlled revelation. He shows fragments of vulnerability, carefully chosen. The female mind is attracted by riddles, but falls in love with shared pain. He reveals a trauma, a secret, a weakness, something that humanizes him. but does so at the right time, in the right tone, never as confession, but as trust. He makes her feel she was chosen to see what no one else sees, and her ego inflates. Now she does not just want the man, she wants the mission to heal him. Machiavelli said, "People attach themselves more out of gratitude than out of obligation." The Machiavellian uses emotional gratitude. He makes her feel necessary, makes her believe she has a special role in his life. And when someone believes they are essential, they give up power voluntarily. This is the moment of psychological fusion. She begins to adapt to his mood, his schedules, his silences. She interprets everything, analyzes, tries to understand. And the more she tries to understand, the more she gets lost. The Machiavellian does not offer clarity. He offers emotion. He makes her feel intensely, and feeling replaces reason. He alternates vulnerability and strength, shows fatigue, but composes himself, shows coldness, but immediately delivers a gesture of affection. Every movement is calculated to create contrast, and contrast maintains the addiction. The woman starts constantly seeking the good moment that came after the cold, and that is where the cycle repeats. He creates the effect of emotional intermittence. Psychologically, this is what generates dependency, unpredictable rewards, the same principle that makes an addiction form. The brain seeks the next peak of pleasure, the next gesture of approval, the next unexpected message, and every weight increases his power. But the Machiavellian is more subtle than a common manipulator. He does not demand love. He inspires it. He becomes a silent obsession. She thinks of him without realizing it. His absence transforms into mental presence. Even far away, he occupies internal space. And this is the final triumph, when the memory becomes more powerful than the touch. Machiavelli would say that true power is that which need not be exercised to be felt. The Machiavellian seducer reaches this point. He needs not control anything explicitly because he already inhabits her thought. He is the pleasant ghost that returns in every comparison, in every memory, in every silence. And when the woman finally believes she understands him, he changes again. He reinvents himself, assumes another posture, another rhythm, creates a new layer of mystery, makes it seem he evolved, that he matured. This reignites the fascination, as if she were rediscovering him. The secret is never to become predictable, because the predictable is the tomb of desire. The Machiavellian understands that the human mind has a cycle of attachment. First comes interest, then hope, then frustration, and finally fixation. He conducts every stage with precision, like a maestro conducting a symphony of emotions. When she arrives at fixation, he no longer needs to act. Her own brain does the work.
He becomes the symbol of what she wants to conquer and what she fears to lose. An emotional mirror. He knows that in every relationship there is one who loves and another who allows themselves to be loved. And power inevitably belongs to the second. But there is a point even darker, the dirtiest of all. The Machiavellian knows that desire is only kept alive by scarcity. So, even at the height of passion, he maintains distance. He never gives himself totally. He gives enough to feed the flame, but never enough to extinguish the fire. This cold control differentiates him from the common man. The sentimental seeks the comfort of love. The strategist seeks the control of desire. And for this, he must be willing to lose, because whoever fears losing has already lost. Machiavelli would say that the prince must be prepared to act against compassion, faith, and honesty when necessary to preserve power.
The Machiavellian seducer applies this to perfection. He knows that true love is destructive and that sometimes to maintain dominance, it is necessary to sacrifice one's own affection. In the end, he not only conquers hearts, he remodels them. The woman who passes by him never returns to being the same, because he was not just a man, he was an experience, a shadow that taught the pleasure of losing control. Every war has a price. The Machiavellian knows this, but chooses to pay. He understands that emotional dominance does not come without consequences, neither for those who are dominated, nor for those who dominate. After controlling the game so much, the point arrives where he becomes the prisoner of the strategy himself. The mind that manipulates desire too much begins to distrust even its own pleasure. Machiavelli said that whoever tries to govern everything ends up losing everything. And the Machiavellian seducer feels this in the silence after the conquest. When the woman is surrendered, fascinated, dependent, something inside him goes out. He won, but the game loses its flavor. Power without challenge is empty, and it is in this instant that the cycle restarts, not out of love, but out of addiction to control. The dirtiest method not only destroys the other, it corrodes the player himself. He starts living off the tension of mystery, the fire, the almost. Real pleasure becomes banal, and psychological pleasure essential. He does not just want to be desired, he wants to be impossible to forget. And for this, he needs to always keep apart, inaccessible. He dominates the art of disappearing, vanishes at the height of fascination, leaves echoes, traces, memories, and his absence becomes torturous presence. The woman searches for him in memories, in places, in songs, and every attempt to forget only reinforces the bond. This is the true Machiavellian triumph, the conquest that continues even after the end. But the price is isolation. He becomes a king without a kingdom, surrounded by conquered hearts, but souls he cannot touch. The emotion he awakens in others no longer touches him. He is the strategist who knows all the tricks, but feels the game no more. Total dominance makes him immune, and immunity is the death of passion. In the eyes of the world, he is irresistible. In his own shadows, he is an exhausted man, because whoever dominates the heart of another too much ends up losing their own. The Machiavellian seducer is the architect of a labyrinth no one else understands, but he is also its prisoner. And deep down he knows every look, every silence, every departure was a rehearsal for a void that always returns. The woman loves him with intensity, but what she loves is the mask. He created a character so convincing that even he gets confused. Power became identity. Control became addiction. Machiavelli's dirtiest method to seduce any woman is the same that can destroy the seducer himself, making the other lose themselves in you, and then realizing there is no one else inside there. Because the Machiavellian mind, however brilliant it may be, is never satisfied. It wants the next game, the next fascination, the next heart to break and understand. It is the curse of the strategist, seeing love as a battlefield. And every battle won is also a piece of self that is lost. In the end, the Machiavellian looks back and sees traces of eyes that loved him, but none that understood him. He did not want to be loved. He wanted to be remembered. And in this, he triumphed, because no one forgets who made them feel fear and desire at the same time. No one forgets who knew how to hide inside their own mystery. And perhaps, deep down, that has always been the plan. Not to conquer women, but to prove he could. Not to love, but to dominate. Not to live, but to control. It is power as the last form of pleasure. It is the mind of Machiavelli applied to the human soul, cold, calculating, irresistible, and solitary. The common man wants to be loved. The Machiavellian wants to be eternal. He knows that love dies with time, but fascination survives in memory. And if a woman years later still thinks of him, even hating, even remembering with anger, then he won. Because forgetting is the final death, and the Machiavellian does not accept dying. In the final account, Machiavelli's dirtiest method is not a technique, it is a curse. It teaches to dominate emotions, but condemns the dominator to eternal coldness. Teaches to create love, but kills the capacity to feel it. Teaches to be irresistible, but prevents being true. The Machiavellian seducer loves no one, and no one loves him truly. They love the sensation he awakens, the fire he lights, the void he leaves. He is the poison and the antidote, the angel and the demon, the pleasure and the punishment. And when on any night he crosses eyes with someone new and the game restarts, he smiles in silence, because even knowing the end will be the same, he cannot resist. Power is his vice, and as Machiavelli himself would say, men forget the death of the father faster than the loss of power.